Hello, courageous woman. I am so excited you decided to join me today to learn a little bit more about what it is to be a courageous woman, how you can get there, how you can live this courageous, fulfilled, meaningful life that I know so many of us are looking for. Given all that we've been through for the last few years, I know that you want to feel alive and inspired and joyful and full of hope. So I'm so glad you're here. I want to share a little bit about my journey, share a little bit about the journey that I offer and what is possible for you, no matter where you've come from, no matter what your experiences have been. There is hope and possibility for you. We're going to discover how to overcome the pain of your past, escape religious oppression, generational oppression, just a general sense of oppression that women have experienced for years in just about every culture I've encountered. I've lived all over the world and I just see it over and over, and there's no need for it. You can maintain your sense of who you are as a woman. You can maintain who you are within your religious belief systems and still not feel oppressed, not feel overwhelmed, not feel like you're not enough and disappointed with life. So that's what this program is all about. This is what I'm all about. This transformation is all about. I want you to understand who you are. I want you to understand that you are enough just the way you are, no matter what you've been through, where you're living, where you're coming from. You can come home to your heart, come home to yourself, and know fully who you are. So what we're going to do in the next 90 days is rewire, reinvent, rebuild who you are. It doesn't mean you have to give up your family, your job, your belief systems, your career, none of that. You get to be exactly who you are, but we're just going to rewire your sense of thinking, your sense of how you see the world, how you approach the world, so that you feel alive, so that you feel inspired, so that you're excited to get up and feel motivated to move on in your life throughout your day exactly where you're at. And know exactly where you want to go. So I know you're probably still wondering if this is for you. Please stay with me. I'm going to explain the whole thing, let you know what this transformational journey is all about so that you can fully come home to your heart and feel alive in a way that you've never felt before. So I want to know, do you feel stuck because you overgive and you overplease those around you? Do you feel like it doesn't matter how much you give and give and give? The people around you just don't get it. They don't understand. You're not getting anything in return and you feel completely depleted. You feel completely empty inside. I know the feeling. I've been there, and hundreds and thousands of other women have been there as well. It's part of the cultural conditioning that we experience as women, and there are so many gifts that we have as females. There's so many gifts that we have to give to others. So this is not about stopping giving. This is about understanding what place within us we give from, and also how to give back to ourselves and how to receive, how to nourish our bodies, how to nourish our minds so that we are capable and able to fully give in a way that's invigorating for us, that's inspiring for us, and also inspiring for the people around us. I want to know, is the life you built not bringing you happiness that you thought it would? I can so relate to this feeling. I spent so many years thinking and dreaming and planning about the adult life I would have, about being a wife, about being a mom, about the career I would have, the friends I would have, the house I would live in. You know, that's just what we do as little girls, is we dream about life and we dream about what we get to experience when we get older. And I know the feeling of getting to older and being so sad and disappointed and overwhelmed, and then feeling like you're a bad person because you're not happy like you thought you would be. Maybe you did everything like I did. I did everything right. I went to church. I engaged with church. I had really good Christian friends. I married this man. We had 2 children. I had a great career that I loved, but I just had this chronic sense of emptiness inside. I was tired. I felt guilty, and it didn't matter how hard I tried. I just still felt broken and like it wasn't enough. And so I would go home and just think, what am I doing wrong? What's missing? What's happening? Why am I not happy? I have beautiful children. I thought I had a happy, loving marriage. It just was not satisfying. I just felt so empty and dissatisfied. And then so much guilt and shame on top of that because I didn't know what was wrong and what was missing. So I want you to know that after years of searching and trying and studying and trying to figure out what the missing pieces are, I figured it out. It was a mindset for me, and it was learning how to really open up my heart to myself, open up my heart to the people around me. So this is a journey of transformation, of coming home to yourself, of really understanding how you're made, what you need, how to express what you need. It's a 90-day transformation from surviving to thriving, from surviving to feeling empty, feeling broken, feeling dissatisfied, uninspired, to an inspired, happy, satisfied, joyful life. You come to life through this transformation, and it's so powerful because it's not just you who gets to come alive, but it is the people around you who gets to come alive. I watched my children transform and come alive as I've transformed and come alive. I've watched my friends take a risk and get excited about new ventures for themselves because I'm taking risks and getting excited about new ventures for myself. This is such a powerful transformation because it does not just transform you. It literally transforms everyone in your orbit, everyone that you touch. And then suddenly I found myself in this circle of people where we're all feeling excited and inspired and and wanting to living in joy, not just looking for joy, not having moments of joy, but truly living in joy and happiness. And man, after all that we have been through, after all that we've experienced and the total life shifts and transformations that we've experienced since 2020, don't you want to feel alive? Don't you want to feel full of joy and inspired? It's such a good thing. So if you've answered yes to any of these thoughts, if inside there's something tugging you going, oh, I want that. I'm so tired of feeling disappointed. I'm so tired of being uninspired and just broken and feeling like I'm not enough, then this is for you. I want you to keep listening. I'm going to explain the whole thing, exactly how it works, so that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. It's so exciting, and I can't wait to continue to share more with you. If you are seeing this right now, it is no coincidence. It means you are searching and looking. You believe like I believed. There has to be more to life. This cannot be it. I did not get this far and work this hard. This cannot be all that there is to it. And I'm telling you, it's not. I believe the same thing. I kept searching and looking just like you're searching and looking. I'm so glad that you're here. There is something within you that wants more. There is something within you telling you, I want to thrive. I want to feel alive. I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being disappointed. I'm tired of being uninspired. I want to be alive and thrive, and I'm telling you it is possible. I will tell you my story in a minute. I was the epitome of broken, the epitome of disappointed and sad and overwhelmed. And if I can do it, I know that you can do it too. It has taken me so long to figure this out. And so it just really brings me so much joy to have created this roadmap, this transformational roadmap for you to get to follow. You've come to the right place. I'm going to lay it all out for you so you know exactly what this journey and this transformation looks like. Because it has not only just worked for me. I have already been working with women. I've already been doing this transformational journey with women for years. I've been in private practice for years. As I worked in private practice with women, I was noticing not only was I identifying with a lot of the things that they were coming in, but I was identifying that all of these women have so much in common. So many women coming in for counseling and support and help have the same thoughts and feelings, have had some of the same experiences. Maybe their actual story is different, but the feelings that that they're experiencing because of their story are also similar. So I thought, why not? It would be so much more powerful and impactful to bring women together, to do this journey together, to hear each other's stories, to build momentum with each other. So that's why after years of working with women, after years of helping people, I've created this transformational journey where we get to work together. We get to walk side by side with each other. So here's one of my lovely women who's been walking through this journey with me. She was so excited because she struggled a lot with anxiety. She got really overwhelmed easily, especially when she was in public with her children. So she got to the point where she just didn't go in public very often with her kids unless she had a partner with her, unless she had a good friend with her who she trusted. But after working, after actually not very long into this journey, it was not even a full month, she was able to gain some of the tools she needed to be able to go. She took her kids to the water park. She was able to stay present and be a loving, fun mom with her kids the whole time she was there. Her anxiety did not get the best of her. She did not get overwhelmed. She even had a major triggering event happen at the water park. A family member, her sister, I believe, who she hadn't spoken to in years because of some family fallout was there. And even in that highly triggering moment, she was able to stay grounded and present, and had a wonderful day with her girls. And again, this going back to what I was saying earlier, this isn't just about her getting to feel satisfied and lovely and connected to her children, but her children were able to feel that way with her as well. When we transform ourselves, we transform the people around us. So that day is not a day like so many of us know, where we come home tired, exhausted, disconnected, frustrated, and then therefore our kids feel that way too, and then they feel kind of guilty. They know that we're upset and we're not so happy. She was able to have a really happy day with her kids, and then this is a memory that her kids get to have forever too, that they had a great happy day with their mom, where she was just able to be playful with them and laugh with them and enjoy the day at the water park. Here's another client who's had some trauma in her background. She suffered with a lot of fatigue, and she's gone to get medical help. She's trying to get support, and she just couldn't figure out what the fatigue was about. But after walking through our program, again, not even all the way through the program, she began to understand that her mind and her body were tired, because the coping mechanisms that she had built in to survive, which were very necessary and got her to the point where she's at. So let's be very grateful for the coping mechanisms that we build in order to get to where we are today, because they helped us. We're here because of them. But when we use those coping mechanisms long term, it starts to create more problems for us. It starts to create that disconnection, that overwhelm, that sense of loss, the emptiness inside. So she was pretty quickly able to identify, like, oh, these are the things that I'm doing that helped me in a moment, but are actually hurting me now. And so she was able to sort of rearrange how she's thinking about things. She was able to reintegrate a sense of self and let go of some of those coping mechanisms that she doesn't need anymore, but she was just continuing out of habit, so that she can begin to come home to herself and feel alive and feel a sense of joy and bring some energy back into her life. All right, so here's another client who has worked through this program. He's going through the transformation, and she's just connecting with her heart. She's learning what some of the old coping mechanisms are that she can let go of. And then I also have some tips and tricks in there that kind of help you reconnect to feeling, reconnect to coming home with yourself, because sometimes it's easy for us to just let go. Not easy, but we understand what we need to let go of, but then it's hard to fill that space. So she's speaking to one of the tips I have in here. If you know that you need to connect with sadness, if you know that you need to experience sadness, but you just can't quite connect to it, one of the tips in there is to watch a sad movie and let the tears flow. And then once you're connected to the sadness in the movie, then you can kind of bring in your own sadness that you need to experience. So there's a bigger picture there, but that's just a little piece of some of the tips that we have when we need to process some emotions so that we can move forward and be free. That's what she's referring to here, and it's really helped her to understand who she is, understand how she's numbing herself out, and then how to stop. So it's been a really powerful experience for her. Okay, before we get too far into this, I want to introduce myself. My name is Janice Holland. I have a master's degree in applied psychology from New York University. I'm a licensed professional counselor supervisor in the state of Texas, and I have a certification in trauma model therapy through the Ross Institute. I have worked very hard to understand pain, to understand why we do what we do when we're hurting, and how to help people get through that pain, how to help people get through hurting so that they can thrive, so they can live. So you may not identify yourself as somebody who's been through trauma. That's okay. You have experienced pain, because there is no person walking on the earth who has not experienced some form of pain. So I've been working with people since 2009 in all walks of life and different places in the world. I've worked in schools, I've worked in mental health hospitals, I've worked in private practice, meeting with people one-on-one, hearing their stories, hearing their experiences, and helping them set goals so that they can live a life that they feel excited about, that they feel proud of, so that they can release past experiences and move forward in an exciting way. The weight and frustration of feeling like there's more out there, but not knowing where to start can be so difficult and overwhelming. I have definitely been there, and you may have had some experiences with mental health providers that have left you feeling more sad and more broken than than helped. I know that I've had that experience as well. So it can be really, really hard when you muster up the courage and strength to try and find and seek help, and then it ends up being more disappointing. And then you feel like there's something wrong with you, especially if you've sought help and support in any form of religious institution. I think for the most part, those within the religious circles have very good intentions. They want to help people, but if you're not trained in exactly how to do that, you can end up really causing more harm than help, and that can be really, really confusing for people. My mantra is super simple. Give clients the wellness education tools and resources they need to manage crisis, to manage pain. It doesn't you don't have to consider it crisis. It can just be pain. Understand your behavior. Understand why you've responded the way you've responded. And then you have the power to know how to move forward. Then you have the power to create the life that you want and to live at your highest potential. This has been something that's been part of who I am since I was a very young adult. I just want to live to my greatest potential, and I will stop at nothing to figure out what I need to do to live at my highest potential. And I want you to be able to have that opportunity as well. I want you to understand why you are where you are. I want to give you all the education and tools you need to unlock a future for yourself that allows you to live the life you want to live, that makes you excited, that fills you with joy and gives you inspiration. All right, so what we do within the Courageous Woman transformation is we understand and validate wherever you're at in your life. If you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are, how broken you feel, how far behind you feel, how not enough you feel. Anywhere on that continuum, I'm going to meet you there. And I'm going to tell you, I'm here. I'm gonna validate your experience and where you're at, and help you even more than me validating you. I'm gonna help you validate you. I want to help you and show you how to let go of the shame and judgment you have for yourself or where you're at, and validate where you're at. Because until we can meet ourselves there, until we can understand ourselves where we're at, we stay stuck in shame and can't move on. So once you understand and validate where you're at, and then experience these other women who are on this journey with you, understanding and validate where you're at, then you're empowered. Then you're empowered. It unlocks this ability to hear the tools and resources that I have for you, to hear what it takes to heal, and then do the healing work for yourself, so that then you can thrive, so that then you can be excited about life. Then you can set goals for yourself. Then you can be inspired. Then you can be that mom that you want to be, who's laughing with her kids and light and free. You can be the woman that you want to be with a partner who's connected, who's sensual, who enjoys time with her partner, who can be the friend who's alive and connected and having fun. If it's been so long since you've even experienced any kind of fun, any kind of joy, then this is for you. I'm going to show you how to meet yourself where you're at, and then give you the exact steps and roadmap to see exactly where you're going. I know that you can do this without me. You can do this without the strategies. There's lots of people in this world who are happy, whom I've never met, who hasn't worked with me. But I can tell you from my own experience, and then from a lot of people who I know, that it has taken years. It's taken lots of trial and error. Like I said before, it's taken meeting with people and feeling more lost and confused and broken than when you started meeting with them, because they didn't quite understand your journey. They had more of an agenda for themselves than for actually helping other people. I'm telling you, I have experienced so much loss and pain. In fact, this is what motivated me to get my certification and trauma model therapy, because when I was meeting with people who were trying to help me, I could tell that they didn't know what to do. So when I was 25 years old, I had been married for about 2.5 years, and I had a 14-month-old baby boy. And I found myself in a locked unit in a mental health hospital on suicide watch. I had no idea how I got there. I was scared, alone, lost, confused, felt so guilty and ashamed. What mother wants to leave her baby? And I knew that that was a horrible thought to have, but I also knew that I truly believed at the time that he would be better off without me, that he would be better off without this sad, lonely mother who doesn't know what she's doing, who doesn't know how to help. I thought, his dad will have to marry somebody else who knows how to take care of him. Honestly, that's where my mind was at the time. And I was so tired of being the good girl. I was so tired of working so hard to make everybody happy. I didn't have it in me anymore. I was too overwhelmed. I couldn't make anybody happy. And I truly believe that because I can't make people happy, then I don't have an existence. I don't need to be here because I don't have what it takes. I don't have the strength to please other people the way I had. So after 7 days in the hospital, I was still so lost and scared, but I was frustrated because it didn't appear that anybody there really cared that I was there. I was looking around at all other patients, and most of them were quite a bit older than me and had been in and out of the hospital 3-4 times. And I'm looking at these doctors and nurses who were kind, but I didn't connect with any of them. They weren't really that interested in my story. They just wanted to get me better and get me out. And I realized nobody is going to save me. Nobody's going to rescue me, take care of me. Like, I have to do this for myself, and this cannot be it. This cannot be my story. This is not how it ends. I'm not going to be a person who's in and out of a mental health hospital. This cannot be all that there is to life. So after 7 days, I made a commitment to myself. I am going to figure out what it takes to not be in this place. I don't know what that means. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know. I don't even fully know what I'm saying, except this is not my story. I refuse for this to be my story. So typically when you're in a mental health hospital, you're there for a minimum of 14 days. But after 7 days, I started begging my doctors, please let me go. Please let me out. I'm not going to kill myself, I promise. I don't want to waste any more time in here, just like staring at walls and sitting through half-hearted group programs that I could tell the therapists and doctors, they weren't, I don't know if they were burnt out. I'm not sure. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying I didn't feel inspired. I didn't feel like they were connecting with me and really getting me where I wanted to go, which I wasn't sure where I wanted to go, except I knew I didn't want to be there. So after 7 or 8 days, I finally convinced the doctor to let me out. I signed the release papers, and I hired the best therapist I could afford, and I started the work. I began the work of trying to figure things out. I gained as many tools from that therapist as I could, and once things started kind of breaking down and falling apart with her, I went to the next therapist. I found religious resources. I found spiritual resources. I found as many resources as I could find. And because I refused to give up on my promise to myself that I was going to figure out how to thrive. I was going to figure out how to be excited about life and be inspired in life. And let me tell you, it took me 19 years. It took way longer than I think it should have, but I kept running into roadblocks. I kept running into people who wanted to help, but weren't really that equipped to help, who didn't understand like they had gone to school and trained, but they didn't really understand the nuances of human behavior. They didn't understand the nuances of how, when we have bad experiences and we compensate for those bad experiences, how that compensation breaks down over time and causes us more pain and frustration in the end. It causes us to interact with people in a different way and causes people to see us in a different way. That isn't trained enough in school. I can tell you that because I've been through school. Getting the additional certification at the Ross Institute really helped me understand human behavior. But I kind of had to take matters into my own hands and just continue to build and grow. So after 19 years of working and learning and growing and changing and evolving and helping clients evolve, I want you to know that I have created this roadmap. I've figured out all the different keys to success, all the different keys to coming alive, all the different areas of growth that we need in order to feel abundant and alive and joyful and inspired. I will help you understand your past. I will give you all the tools and all the different areas of life that you need in order to really feel like you know yourself, like you've come home to yourself. You can feel safe with yourself and at peace. That chronic sense of emptiness is gone. And I get to be excited about the life that I want to create. So when I look back and think about that 25-year-old girl sitting in a hospital with a 14-month-old baby, so broken, scared, overwhelmed, I can still connect with her. I can still feel her inside, and I am so proud of her. I'm so proud of her for making a decision, and I'm so grateful to her for making a decision that she is going to do what it takes to succeed. And here I am, almost 20 years later. I want to make her proud. I am making her proud because we did it. We did the hard work. We searched high and low, far and wide, and found all the resources and tools that we need to fully heal, feel abundant, and be alive and at peace with who I am. All right, so when you follow my steps, you get the advantage of all of that hard work. You get the advantage of not having to guess, not having to switch around from person to person to person and gain all these different tools from different people like most people do. You get to save yourself the harm for meeting with professionals who don't really fully know what they're doing. They have very good intentions, but they don't fully understand human behavior and human interaction. So that not only causes more pain and frustration for you, but it wastes time for you, valuable time. Many of us don't have time. And so this time is spent, like, you don't have to worry about spending time trying to find the right resources. I've compiled all of it for you. And it's very expensive to go to helping professionals. And if you're going to helping professional, and obviously it takes time for them to get to know your story, so you invest more time, invest more money, and then they end up not really fully knowing how to connect with you and help you. And then that's very stressful trying to figure all that out because you're still trying to live your normal life as well, right? Like, you can't quit life and just go work on yourself. I remember so many times wishing and thinking, I wish I could just push the pause button on life and go figure myself out and get all this worked out, and then push play again and plug back into my family life and my work life. I thought that so many times, but we don't have that luxury, right? So you deserve to be happy, and you don't just deserve to be happy because it's you, but when you're happy, the people around you are happy. When you're inspired and full of joy and hope and promise, and the people around you are feeling inspired and full of joy and hope. And it's contagious. It just creates this whole circle of people that are alive, right? And we get one life. And I want as many people as possible to feel so alive, no matter what they've been through, no matter what your past is. You can feel alive. So the Courageous Woman Transformational Journey, I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. I have 12 hours minimum because I'm adding more every month. So a minimum of 12 hours, but by the time you're watching this, it's going to be much more because I am continuing to add as I continue to teach that talks about this. I've identified 6 different phases that we need to address and go through. I'll tell you what those are in just a little bit. So I have 12 hours of content on those 6. I have community access. We have a private group where we, as women, it's just such an incredible group because the women are so supportive of each other and so caring to each other. So when you're having a day where you just can't anymore, where you're just so frustrated and tired, this group of women will lift you up. When you're having a day that you want to celebrate and something amazing has happened, this group of women will celebrate with you. It's such an incredible, supportive community. You will get a one-on-one onboarding call with me so that I can hear your story, get to know you, understand what you've been through, what you're looking for, so that I can tailor the program specifically for you, or tailor this journey specifically for you, and kind of tell you what to lean into first so that you can get the most out of it. I've got an ebook that you can download with lots of journal prompts as you're working through your story and your journey with yourself. These prompts will kind of help you know where to start, right? Sometimes we want to work on things, but we're just not even sure how to start. So that's what these journal prompts are about. And then 7 guided meditations. Man, I love guided meditations. I'm always looking for resources for that for myself. I love to start my morning. I usually get up and make my coffee and just sit there and put on a meditation and just listen and let somebody guide me through reconnecting with my heart. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it's just something that kind of is a good start. That's when I like to do it. Other people do it at different times. You're welcome to find what works best for you. One of the most powerful resources I have is I am a podcast junkie, and I love gathering all kinds of media. So within these phases, we have different targeted things that we're looking at, and it'll make more sense when I explain it in a minute. But I have curated a list of podcasts, books, TV shows, and movies that address the specific area we're working on. So if you're trying to figure out why you feel like you're not enough, and we're working on this, and you're understanding it, you're doing the journal prompts. Sometimes when we hear somebody else's story, somebody else explain why they feel like they're not enough, it clicks for us. And so these resources are so powerful because you have whatever phase you're working on, you have at your fingertips a whole list of podcasts and books and movies and TV shows. However you receive media the best, it's all there for you to go, oh, and we can relate to that person's story, and we can see ourselves within their story, and it comes alive for us. So I think it's so powerful that I have these recommendations in there for you. It's all, it's up to you how much of it you want to consume, but the more of it you're able to look at and listen to, then the more it clicks for you, and the more you're able to understand yourself, and you can break free of the patterns that you want to break free from. So with each of the teachings that I have, I also have a PDF that kind of highlights the main talking points, and also has some questions that you can answer at the end for yourself, just to kind of metabolize that information and really make it personal to you. And then we also have 2 weekly coaching calls. So one will be in the morning and one in the evening. So depending on your schedule, which you're welcome to kind of both, or you can pick one depending on your schedule. And we will focus on the phase that we're working through that week. You can ask questions. You can hear other women speak about what they're going through. We'll do a little bit of hot seat where we can do some coaching. I can work with you one-on-one and some coaching with the other women listening so that they can gain value from that experience as well. If you want to, if you want to just listen, ask questions in the chat, that's okay too. Whatever works for you. But this journey is so powerful. As I was working in my private practice one-on-one with women, I was seeing the same patterns over and over and over with each story, the way women have responded and the way women have learned to protect themselves and the way women have started showing up in the world in order to feel safe was common among almost every client I was seeing, including myself. And then also understanding. So I decided, why not bring everyone together? Let's talk about this together. Let's work on this together, because there's so much more power in connection. There's so much more power in hearing that we're not the only one, that we're not crazy, that we are enough, and that if we see another woman working through something we're working through, it gives us courage and strength to be able to do it as well. It takes so much courage to look at our lives. It takes so much courage to see what we have been through and where we want to go and bring all that stuff together. It's so powerful when we're working together as women. There's so much more. I'm always adding more information. I bring in women who are experts in nutrition. I bring in women who are experts in hormone balancing. I bring in women who are experts in physical fitness and in a healthy way. And all of these women that I bring in are women who understand busy lives, who understand, there's no shame involved, there's no overworking involved. It's integrating your full sense of self into taking care of yourself in all these different ways. So we're always learning and growing together. But before I go too far into what all you'll learn, I want to explain why this works so well. I strategically put this course together because I've seen so much harm in my own story. As I've said before, so many helping professionals really wanted to help me, really wanted to be engaged with me. But to be honest, they were too distracted by their own narratives and their own story to really be able to help me with mine. And I can explain the program, the transformation journey very much goes into that concept. So I'm not going to go too far into that, but a lot of people in the helping profession are people who are broken themselves, who are searching themselves, and they are looking for answers to their own story within other people. There's not necessarily anything inherently wrong with that, but it can cause a lot of harm if you don't really know what you're doing. The reason I went back and got my certification in trauma model therapy was for this reason, so I could really understand how my own story impacted impacted the way I think, impacted the way I interact with other people, so I could not do that with my clients. So you're in good hands when you're with me, because I am very well trained as a professional and in trauma model therapy. Even if you don't consider yourself as having trauma, you have been through pain. And I want to help you understand how that pain has impacted your story, has impacted how you interact with the world around you. And I can do that because I've been so well trained in it, and I've worked with hundreds of clients already in the past. As I researched and gathered everything I learned through all these certifications and licensing, as well as my own first-hand experience, I did discover something new, that many people believe that reaching out for help will leave you feeling more empty. And I know that you believe that because that's what you've experienced. And I want you to know I experienced it too. However, that's not necessarily true. It doesn't have to be the end of the story. Like I said, I made that commitment to myself long ago. This is not it. And I refused to give up until I understood and believed why this is not it. So you can leave all those feelings of pain and worthlessness behind. You can replace them with abundance and joy. I will guide you through this incredibly potent, transformative journey. And it actually doesn't take that long, because I know what I'm doing, because I've done this, because I spent so many years trying to figure it out and doing all the wrong things and seeking help from all the wrong people. It's amazing how long it doesn't have to take when you're with somebody who actually knows how the journey is going to play out, who can give you the tools you need right up front to help yourself. It's going to change your interactions with your children, with your family, with your friends. You come alive inside and feel inspired, like I've been saying, and just the world around you then becomes inspired and becomes hopeful, and people get excited about life. And so it just creates this bubble of people who are wanting to do things differently. It's not perfect, but what's cool about that is when you're having a bad day, when you are feeling sad and upset, then people rally with you and connect with you and give you the grace and understanding that you need the space. And then you have tools to know how to get yourself out of those bad days. You have the tools to know how to let yourself rest, to know how to begin the building blocks of figuring out what it is that you need to be able to move on and fully thrive. So I can get you through all of these phases in 90 days, and you will have lifetime access after the initial journey, in order so you can go back and revisit any phase that you need to in the future, because we all have triggering events. We all have seasons of life where we circle back to another pain point. So you can go back to the resources that you have and work through them for that specific phase. But what's cool is that after the 90 days, you can recognize for yourself, oh my gosh, I just went back into I'm not enough thinking. I know what this is. And then you have the resources there to manage the not enough thinking. Or you start to feel crazy, or you interact with somebody who's trying to make you feel crazy, and you're like, I used to think that I was the crazy person, but I know that I'm not crazy. And then you can go back to the phase that talks about that and manage it. You cannot work your way into abundance, harmony, and beauty. You just can't. It's that we have spent so long as women working hard. We are hard workers, right? And we think, okay, if I can just put my head down and work harder, I'm going to get there. And this is one of the last things that I learned myself, is that I can't work my way into peace, harmony, abundance, joy, freedom, beauty. I have to learn how to come home to myself. I have to learn how to receive. I have to learn how to lean back. These are all initially were very, very scary concepts for me. I promise I'm going to hold your hand through it, break it down how to do it so that you can be abundant within yourself, come home to yourself, get rid of the scarcity, the isolation, and all the loneliness, all the striving to please God, please people. You get to feel happy and at peace, fully connected to God, fully connected to your higher power, to the source of life for you, fully connected to the people in your life. It is just such an incredible feeling. It is so powerful when you get to just breathe deep and feel connected in a way that you've never felt before. You're not crazy. You're not weird. You are already fully loved. You are complete just the way you are. I promise. This transformational journey is not about changing you in a way that, like, I am not something that I need to become. That is not what this is. You are already fully whole, fully enough, just as you are. This is about changing and shifting the way you see yourself and the way you interact with the world around you so that you can connect with that reality. Okay, so here's my vision and mission. There's very few people who really understand the complexities of helping women who have been marginalized. Some of us have been traumatized. A lot of us have been it's just part of cultural conditioning. And honestly, I didn't fully understand it until I moved away from my home culture. I live right now in Shanghai, China, and it's a completely different world here. It's totally different, which I love in a lot of ways. But one of the best things I love about it is that it's helped me fully see and understand the cultural conditioning that I experienced in the South in America. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I'm just saying I understand it in a way that a lot of people don't. And I want you to be able to understand yourself, come home to your heart, and really fully love who you are in the midst of the life that you want to live. You don't have to leave your culture. I just want you to know how to come home to your heart in the midst of your culture. I've been to hell and back. And so I know I've been through so much pain and so much heartache and so much frustration. And now I feel so alive and free. And I want that for every woman I can get my hands on, every woman that I can reach, for you to know what it is that you love, to know what it is that you want, and to feel so alive and abundant in the life that you want to live, in the life that you're living right now, if that's exactly where you want to live. So are you ready? Are you ready to fully, finally heal and break free? To know that there is no better time than right now. Now, if you're always waiting for the exact perfect time to do something, that time will never come. Now, in the middle of your messy life, right in the middle of everything feeling like it's falling apart, or you're not enough, or you don't have the time, now is the time. I'm telling you, there is always a way to carve out, and I will show you exactly how to carve out space within the things that you're doing right now. You don't have to have an extra hour or two a day to devote to this. No, very few people have that, right? I will break it down in as simple steps as possible and show you how to integrate it into the life that you're already living. So there are just 6 simple phases that I've identified, and it helps you orient who you are and how you're interacting with the world around you. I've learned and mapped out everything that you need to start thriving. There's no guessing. There's no, does this work for me? Is this for me? I've developed it and tested it with so many people who've come before you. And my goal is for you to feel safe with yourself. You're not going to have to worry about being harmed by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, by wasting your time, by somebody who's still trying to fumble around and figure it out. You're not going to waste money and deal with the stress and trying to manage resources of time and energy and money on things that you're not sure if it's going to work or not, right? So let's dive in. Here are the phases that every woman that I've talked to around the world has managed some version of these 6 phases. What's wrong with me? We often think this must be me. I'm not getting it. I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling fulfilled. I'm disappointed and dissatisfied with life. That means there's something wrong with me. Courageous woman, there is nothing wrong with you. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with you, and I will detail exactly why we feel that way and exactly what we need to do to start to shift that thinking into understanding. Once you understand why you feel that way, it's not so hard to stop feeling that way. So even if you believe me, yeah, I know there's nothing wrong with me, but then in your heart you still feel like there is something wrong with you, it's hard to convince your heart, because our minds can't convince our heart of something. But when your heart understands why you have that belief system in the first place, then you can start to take that journey, that shift into knowing that there's nothing wrong with you. You are perfect just the way you are. Okay, I'm also going to look at how others see and respond to us. So when we show up in the world in a way that is self-protective, totally understandable that we do. We've all had pain. We've all had bad things happen. And so we want to protect ourselves. Nobody likes to feel pain. Nobody likes to feel grief or that helpless feeling of being caught off guard or being hurt. So we show up in a way that's protective. So that makes sense in the short term. It makes sense if you've been through a bad divorce that you want to show up protective with men. It makes sense that if you have been abused by somebody in your past, that you want to show up in a way that's protective and not vulnerable. So I want to meet you right where you're at. I want to help you understand what kind of protective barriers we put up when we've had experienced pain, and then how other people respond to those protective barriers. Oftentimes, our protective barriers end up helping to repeat a pattern of pain. So I'm going to explain all of that. It's really in really simple terms. It's easy to understand and show you exactly how to start to undo those protective barriers. And we'll first help you understand where do you still need some protective barriers in your life. How can you create those in a way that's safest for you and safest for the people around you? And what protective barriers do you not still need in your life? And how are you still using them? How is that still impacting the way others see you and they respond to you? Okay. Phase 3 is all about, why do we feel so empty inside? Why do we feel lost? Why do I know for me, I had this, it looked like a black pit right here in my chest that was bottomless, and I couldn't see the bottom of it, and it didn't matter where I went, what I did, that pit was always there. Just this emptiness was always there, this dissatisfaction. So you may not have a pit, but so many women have this sense of, is this it? What's going on? Just, I'm a shell of a person. Why can't I feel full and complete and alive? So I'm going to address that, talk about where it comes from, and then we'll start the journey of feeling complete, of no longer feeling empty inside. Once you start to understand where that came from, again, it's really pretty quick to transform. Then we look at our patterns. We spend quite a bit of time looking at patterns, looking at how those patterns are keeping us locked into the life that we don't want to live, right? So there is an addictive piece to many of our patterns. We get addicted to, and that feels like a strong word, but I'll explain it more once you're into the phase to help you understand, like, what patterns are you repeating out of a sense of obligation? What patterns are you repeating out of trying to keep yourself protected and safe? And how is that not serving you in the long? How is that preventing you from living a life that you really want to live? All right, phase 5 is a really interesting one, because once we get through those first 4 phases, we start to unlock some of the old sense of self, but we have to make space, allow for what's new and what's life-giving doesn't necessarily download right away, doesn't come to us right away. And so there's this sort of period of time where we have to be okay with not knowing. And this can be maddening for us as women, because we like to know things, we like to get things done, we like to feel productive. And then sometimes it triggers like this sense of lack of safety when we are making space for something new. So we spend a whole phase in just learning how to just be, learning how to allow for that space to be empty for a while, so that it can be filled with phase 6, that abundance and freedom and life. And a lot of times when you first begin to start walking in abundance and freedom, some feelings of guilt come in, or I don't deserve this, or this, it can be a little bit triggering. So we circle back up to one of the other phases. So instead of this being linear, I want you to think of it more cyclical. So in the 90 days, we'll get through all phases. You're going to receive so much healing and life and understanding, and understand yourself in a way that you've never understood yourself before. And like I said before, as you continue to move forward in your journey of life, you will always have this content, so you can come back to it. So when you see that you're living this incredible, abundant, joyful life, but something happened and all of a sudden you feel a sense of like, I don't deserve this. So then you can go back to the what's wrong with me phase and start to look at like, oh yeah, that's another level, another layer that I need to work through to live in abundance and freedom. So this is kind of a continual journey that I'm still on as well, maybe just a little further down the path than you, but we're always kind of revisiting these as we move forward, continuing to come more and more alive in who we are. So stage 1 are kind of the first 3 phases together. It's where I meet you right where you're at. You understand who you are, why you're doing the things you do, validating yourself first, and then also receiving validation from me and other women around you of like, yeah, it makes sense. This is your life story, and this is how you've protected yourself. It totally makes sense that you're doing the things that you're doing and you're acting the way you're acting. Like, that's not weird and that's not strange. That's very normal. All these other women are protecting themselves in the same way. So that's what the first 3 phases are all about. You get to know yourself on a whole new level. level. You get to understand the root causes of why you're feeling the way you do. And then once you understand that, then you are empowered and you're free to really focus on stepping into who you are as a woman, stepping into understanding what your femininity is all about and how to express that part of yourself. So stage 2 is all about empowering and inspiring yourself, getting rid of all those old patterns, understanding how to let go of the patterns and making that space for something new to come into your life, and learning how to do that in a way that's productive for you, in a way that's empowering for you, in a way that's inspiring for you. So that's what phases 4 and 5 are all about. And then I will show you absolutely everything you need. It may feel overwhelming right now, but we break it down in really simple steps. You have the tools and you have all the time you need to practice those tools and to integrate those tools into who you are and to your sense of self. And then I'll show you ways to practice, right? And remember, there's also the resources of the podcasts, of the books, of the movies, of the TV shows where women are doing this very thing, where women are undoing old patterns, where women are making space for new powerful things to happen in their life. And so when you can see somebody else doing it in a movie or in a TV show, when you can hear somebody else talk about their experience in a podcast, then we're able to internalize that information in a whole new way so that we can begin to use the tools that I'm giving you and integrate them. And then you have the courage, right, to begin to practice and to try and to empower yourself. And then stage 3 is just all about thriving, all about living abundantly, all about showing up and being seen. And it's scary at first. I can tell you firsthand, it's so scary at first. It's courageous to live this courageous, excited, happy life. So we talk about that, and we talk about how scary it can be and exhilarating it can be at first. And there's women in this transformational journey with you who are celebrating you and who are so excited for you. And every time you choose to thrive, every time you choose to feel abundant and free and full of life, then you encourage the other women also to be like, oh yes, she can do it, I can do it too. And it's just so fun to get to work together and be empowered together and be inspired together as women. There's really nothing like having a really good group of safe women with you. If you're somebody who in the past has not typically connected well with women, I see you, I've been there. But this group of women is really different in that there's no pretenses. Everyone is just in a journey. Everyone just wants to live a happy, abundant, and free life together. It's so rewarding and encouraging. So I can help you ditch those nagging feelings of isolation and loneliness. You are whole and complete just the way you are. You are enough just where you're at. You have everything within you already. It's just locked up and stored away because of the painful experiences you've had. So it's time to do the work of transformative healing so you can connect with that woman, so you can find her, so that you can experience her and be her. The woman who was created to be light and free and full of joy and laughter and abundance. Just close your eyes and picture yourself. If you're a mother, close your eyes and picture yourself with your children being happy and playful and laughing. When I used to try to picture myself being that, I couldn't. I was so heavy and so overwhelmed. I couldn't imagine being that for my kids, but I'm telling you it's possible. I am living proof of that. I've overcome so much. It is possible for you to be that mom. It is possible for you to be that partner who connects with your partner in such a playful, light, fun, free way. It doesn't have to feel heavy and overburdened. She is in there screaming to get out, or you would not still be here listening to this. I know she's in there. She wants out, and it's time to let her out. The tools and the resources to let her out are right here for you. There's no need for you to sit with pain and loneliness anymore. You've been through enough. You have been through enough, and it is time to let her out, let her shine, be her. Truly embody the woman who shines, who's inspired, who's full of light and love and laughter. You can focus on feeling more alive than you've ever been before. And that's not even the best part. You can gain the tools, and you can do so quickly. You can be an abundant and free woman. You can be on the road, on the path, fully even under 90 days. But within the 90 days, you're going to have all the tools you need, all the inspiration you need, all the connection with other women that you need. You'll have so much momentum after that 90 days and feel so unlocked after that 90 days that then you can continue the journey easily. with yourself, for yourself, continuing to receive support as you need to. It doesn't have to take a long time, because I've sort of curated all these 20 years of experience that I've gained and put it into this phased process so that it can be metabolized quickly, so that you can understand why you're doing what you're doing and have the tools that you need quickly. Like I said, in under 90 days, you're going to see a difference. Like my clients before showed you, within the first month, they were transforming their interactions with their kids, their interactions with the people around them. Some of them within the first week. It's just so many of us just need the validation of you're not crazy, you're not alone, there is hope, and here's a path. Sometimes just that bit of validation is all you need to be able to take a deep breath and start to feel a sense of life again. Right? So here's my client. She says she's deeply grateful to have had me as a counselor. She loved my unique way of looking at things, and how it helped her grow in her perceptions. I had a gentle and supportive touch that made her feel safe and at ease, and I really appreciated working with her. She was a fantastic client who did the work herself. Like, she showed up for herself, and I will meet you. If you're showing up ready for change, then I will meet you there with the same amount of energy. I want to help you change as well. And this is another client who I started working with over the pandemic, like in 2020, in the height of it. And this client just was so full of judgment and shame about who she is. And just working with me, working with these tools, with these phases, she was able to understand that she's not weird, understand that she is worthy of boundaries, learning how to set those boundaries, and then came alive within herself, began to really understand that she's enough, and understand that when she shows up in a way that she is full of love with herself, then other people feel that love and they feel more of love with themselves too. All right, and here's Monica. I saw Monica's daughter for a while, and her daughter was experiencing so much life-giving transformation that she decided to come to. So it was really powerful to get to work with Monica and her daughter in a way that both of them were able to come alive. Both of them were able to see how some generational patterns were playing out for them, and they were both able to work together to undo those generational patterns in a really powerful way. And it was just so exciting for me to see them feel excited about each other and about life, and have this really cool connected friendship and relationship with each other. Her daughter was quite a bit older. All right, so why work with me? There's lots of professionals out there. If you have not found one that's perfect for you, I hope that this one will be perfect for you. Professional care, like I said, I am well trained. While this is a coaching, I'm playing the role of a coach. I'm not diagnostic in my work with women in this transformational journey. I have that background. I have all of my background and my experiences that I bring to the table with me to ensure that you feel connected, to ensure that you feel safe. I know when women need more support, when they need less support, because of the professional training that I've had. And I've had lots of experience. Like I said, since 2009, I've been working with people in all walks of life, in all different sorts of institutions, and in private practice. So I understand human behavior, and I've seen all different kinds of people, and I've seen all of them come alive and transform with the work and the tools that I have to provide. Also, incredible understanding. I'm not just somebody who's trained professionally, but I have been through hell and back myself. You know, I told you a little piece of my story about arriving at a hospital at 25 suicidal. It's because I had years of sexual abuse, years of emotional abuse. I was in a marriage that was toxic and emotionally abusive. That marriage has now ended. So I've been through so much myself. So I have great empathy and understanding with where you're at, with thinking that just is toxic in nature, with coming up with coping mechanisms to get you through a moment, but that break down over time. I've been through all of that. And so I have so much support and purpose in my support. And I've also been into helping professionals who just are burnt out and don't seem to really care and don't really seem to connect. So I want you to know that that's not me. I have the professional care. I have the personal experience to connect with you. I really deeply, deeply care about your journey and about seeing you no longer suffering, seeing you no longer feeling like you're not enough or like you feel empty inside. I want you to feel abundant and free, because I know that that's what the human experience is really all about. That's why we're here. And when you feel inspired and alive, then the people around you get to feel inspired and alive, and it's just such a powerful experience for everyone. Okay, so now it's your turn. But I want to forewarn you and remind you that you cannot work your way into abundance. This is not something that you enter and then you have to do a bunch of work, because working keeps you in your head. It keeps you ruminating and thinking. This is about coming home to your heart, to feeling at peace within yourself, to connecting with the girl, that woman who's in there, who wants to bust out, who wants to feel alive and free. So it's sort of the opposite of everything that you've always been taught. So before, you always think, okay, I just have to read more books. I just have to study more. I have to think more to get myself out of this. But this is total opposite approach, where we get out of our heads. Yes, we gain some tools and understanding, but those tools are to help you drop into your heart, to drop you into your sense of self, to reconnect your mind and your body back together so that it's flowing together and fluid and expressive with all that you are. These are the things that you need. Understanding yourself in a deeper way, investing in yourself, believing that, just like I did when I was 25 in the mental health hospital, this can't be it, and I will find a way out. You have found it, woman. You're here. You've courageously made it through this masterclass to gain that understanding. You are investing in yourself already right now. The next step is that transformational tools to thrive, to really understand and know yourself, understand how to come back home to your heart, how to unlock the parts of yourself that are locked up for good reason, and then you can feel that abundant, free sense of self. Maybe you're asking yourself, I don't know, that seems like a lot to ask. I don't know that I can do that on my own. Figuring it out on your own, you're right, won't be easy. I can tell you, because I had to do it on my own. I had to keep searching and finding all kinds of different professionals. It may take years, and it did take me, like I said, 19 years to figure it all out, because few people understand the complexities of the pain that's happened to us. Many people understand pain, but they don't understand our response to pain. They don't understand the protective barriers that we put up in order to protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe, so we don't have to continue to feel pain. That's what I've discovered most people don't understand. It takes a specific skill set to help women break free, because it's not just about textbook experiences. We as women have this overlaying cultural conditioning of how we're expected to be as women on top of the pain that we've experienced. So what's really unique about this transformational journey is that I address the cultural expectations that we have as women, and you can decide what of those expectations you want to hold on to or not hold on to, but just understanding them gives you that power. Right? And then the tools on top of it in order to know how to manipulate. I want to keep this piece of the culture, or my culture, because I really like that piece, but I'm going to let go of this piece because I don't like that piece. So that's what this does. It sort of helps you manipulate the information because you understand it, and you understand how it's impacting you and how you're responding to it within the world around you. So I'm here to help you. Save yourself the time it would take to learn all of this on your own. Save yourself the time it's going to take to go find life coaches and therapists and pastors and different people. You can piece it together like I did. It just takes a really incredible long time. Remember, I've been to hell and back. I've been through so much. So if you're somebody who does have abuse and major trauma in your past, I've been there. I see you. And if you're a woman who hasn't, you have been through pain, and you need support and help in order to understand how you're protecting yourself. There isn't anybody, like I said, this is in no way about comparing stories or who has it worse than who. We've all experienced pain, and we all as women respond to that pain in specific ways, and I want you to understand that so that you have the tools to break free from it. So I'm going to save you thousands of dollars in therapy. Remember, being happy has nothing to do with overworking. It has nothing to do with trying harder, but everything to do with leaning back and coming home to who you are, feeling safe with yourself, because when you're safe with yourself, then you are safe within the world around you. All right, so are you ready to get started? All right, so if you're seeing this video right now, that means one of two things. One, that something about this potent and transformative journey of healing struck with you. There's this woman in there that is connecting with what I'm saying, and she wants to come out. Like, maybe you're a little bit scared. You're not sure yet if I am the real deal or if it's possible for you, but you are so hopeful that it could be for you, right? Or you would have left a long time ago if you didn't feel that way. And chances are you could see yourself changing your interactions with your children, family, friends in the world. To me, this is such a powerful powerful, powerful reality when we realize that our transformation is not just about us. It is not selfish. In fact, I almost consider it selfish if you don't transform, because not transforming means that you are giving your children and your partner half of who you actually really are. You're giving them this closed up, shelled off, protective version of who you are, who's there for a purpose. I'm not saying that there's nothing to feel shame or guilt about. You have every reason to be the person that you are right now, but they want and deserve as much as you want and deserve to feel free, abundant, light, transformative, inspired, right? So this is not just you, but also about them. So now you have two options. You can take everything I've showed you and attempt to do it yourself. You can take it to maybe a professional that you've been working with or somebody that you know. Take it to a pastor or somebody at your church and try and figure it out. But I just want to remind you that very, very few people are actually well trained in understanding pain and understanding human responses to pain and understanding women specifically and how culture has impacted women and our ability to come home to our heart and to know ourselves. So that's going to take time. It's going to take money and stress to try and figure all of that out and work through it. But you have every right to do it. I don't know your specific story, or you know for sure that I know what I'm doing. You know for sure that I've walked the path, that I've done the hard work, that I have years and years of not only professional training, but personal experience of what it takes to live this free and abundant and amazing life. I'm a real person and I can only help so many people. So that means if you're on the fence about committing to this journey, that now's the time to start, because what I refuse to do is create this cattle call transformative journey program where there's so many women in there and then it waters it down, and I can't really ensure that women are really getting the transformation that they need. So if you're watching this video, then that means that there are still spots available, that I still have capacity to help you, that I still have capacity to connect with you and connect you with other women who are on this journey who need help and support. So I will take this down as soon as all the spots are filled, because like I said, I refuse to create a watered down program that's not really transformative and helpful. That's the last thing I will ever do, because I refuse for any woman to ever feel the way I felt when I was trying to seek help and seek support and saw that people didn't really care about my story. They just wanted to get through another workday. All right, so to start your transformational journey, click below. I'm here to help you. I want to chat with you. I want to meet you. I want to hear your story. I want to answer any questions that you may have to see if this is the right journey for you. Like I said, I have the professional training and I promise you I will not harm you. So if you tell me your story and I tell you that I can't help you for whatever reason, I'll be honest with you and let you know. I'll give you the resources you need. If you feel that you've been through too much trauma or you haven't processed enough of your trauma, then I can assess that within our call and then send you to the resources that you need. If you feel like you're not sure, maybe you haven't had enough pain, maybe your painful story isn't so bad, but why do you feel this way and you want to understand, give me a call. Let's chat about it. I'm here. I want to support you. Like I said, I want to answer any questions you have. I want this transformational journey to be really potent and powerful for you. So I want to get on a call with you so that we can assess together whether or not this is the perfect fit for you. I look forward to meeting you.